Hey scrapbook friends, it's Nicole from Nicole's Scrapbooks, and I just wanted to do a quick video to talk about one of my very favorite tools, and that is the Border Maker system from Creative Memories. This is a great tool to help you cut perfect borders without any effort at all, and it's just so fun and versatile. And because of the new cartridges coming out all the time, it's easy to mix and match and choose the cartridges that fit your style of scrapbooking. So the Border Maker system consists of three components: the paper guide, the cartridge holder, and then the interchangeable cartridges. When you purchase the system, it comes with the Picket Fence cartridge, and right now CM is doing a bonus offer that you can choose from one of several other bonus cartridges, and that varies just based on inventory levels. And so the best way to figure out what the bonus cartridges you can choose from is going to be to look on my website under Border Maker, and it'll let you see what the options are of the different cartridges that are available. But no matter which cartridges they are, or whether you have maybe the old color of the Border Maker system from a few years ago, they're all interchangeable and they work the same way and they're super easy. So we're going to start by taking the paper guide. It has a little tray on the bottom that you fold out, and it'll snap into place, and this has a raised edge. So what we're going to do is use this to position our paper. Now this little piece here lifts up and it has a magnet strip. So once we put our paper in here, and this will hold up to a 12-inch piece of paper or cardstock, we're going to close the magnet strip down, and then we're going to fold the paper tray out of the way, because the part that we want are these little grooves on the bottom, which are going to correspond with these little teeth like this, to allow us to have a perfectly positioned punch system. Okay, so I've got my paper lined up. I'm going to take my border cartridge, and you want to make sure that you have it so that the groove and the teeth are in the front, the logo goes in the back. You're going to drop it into this cartridge, and you're going to hear it click when it goes all the way in. Now on the cartridge holder, you're going to see there's a little line right here, and that's going to correspond with these little arrows or dots or whatever we call them right here on the guide. You're not going to need to use these very much. Once you've done this a couple of times, you can just do it by feel. But these little teeth are going to correspond to those grooves on the bottom. So you just slide your cartridge holder on here, aligning those two, and punch down. And there you have your perfectly lined up, super easy to cut border. This one happens to be the Kissing Fish cartridge. It's our newest cartridge as of the end of June 2020. But we have been having new cartridges come out every month. And this is one of my favorites. I just think it's fun and summery and has lots of beachy options. I can't wait to use it on my layouts. When you're done punching, you're going to go to the back of the cartridge holder and push this little button and kind of give this a shake, and the cartridge is going to fall right out. So that way it's easier to store, because they're just these small little cartridges that stack pretty nicely together and don't take up a whole lot of space, because this big cartridge holder provides that lever action, so you don't have to have a separate lever on these individual cartridges like you would on a freestanding punch. So there are two kinds of cartridges. The Kissing Fish that I just showed you makes the little chain that disconnects from your paper. But then we also have some cartridges that stay attached. And so I'm going to do the On the Road. This is one of our newer ones as well. I think actually this one might have sold out, but we're getting another shipment of those as soon as we can get them delivered, probably in a couple months. So I'm just going to slide my paper back over to the edge of the paper tray, flip that out of the way, and again, just line it up. And you really do, I mean, you'll feel it when it's where it needs to be. And as long as you make sure that you've got it on straight and you're pressed up against the edge of the paper guide, you're going to get a painless, perfectly aligned cut every time. All right. So this is one that stays attached, as opposed to the fish chain that we just cut. This one is going to stay on your paper. So if you have a full 12-inch paper and you want this to be your whole layout and just have a little border at the top, you can do it like that. You can cut this off. For some of our cartridges, you may want to do the border along both sides, just depending on what you're going to do. Lots and lots of options for the Border Maker cartridges that stay attached, because you could do a 3-inch strip, you could do a 6-inch strip, whatever you want to do. Another fun thing that you can do is to take the cartridge holder without the paper guide. I'm going to scoot this out of the way. And if you use a 4-inch square, you can just kind of eyeball it to center it, and you can make a little accent box. All right, I gotta have it closer to me to get the lever going. All right, so that can make a cute little journaling box on your page. It does make a lot of confetti. If I remember, I do try to put a piece of scrap paper underneath so that I can get it contained, but otherwise I'll just pull my trash can off and scoot that all off. But for now, I'll hide it from you so you don't have to see it. So I do want to give a couple of tips about using the Border Maker. When you first get these cartridges, sometimes there's a little bit of residue from the manufacturing process. So you may want to take a piece of scratch paper and just punch it a couple of times to clean off any of that on this piece of scratch paper that you don't care about. You don't want to use these on super heavy paper. Like you wouldn't want to use it on chipboard for sure. Most glitter papers. It's really mostly designed for cardstock. It does work okay on designer paper, but sometimes when it's a thinner paper or a more intricate design, this can get a little bit jammed up. And so if you ever are cutting on like paperweight paper and it's not cutting right, try cutting a double thickness of paper, whether you fold your paper over or you put a piece of typing paper or something behind it. Sometimes that will really help. But these Border Maker cartridges, especially where they have really fine detail, can be a little bit temperamental sometimes. And so just make sure that you don't have any little bits and pieces in here, because that will jam your things up. Sometimes you may have a piece of paper that doesn't quite fit in the paper guide. And that's the other thing I wanted to show you about this, is what to do when your paper is too narrow to be grabbed by those magnets. Because this is still a perfectly acceptable size piece of paper to cut on. And the secret is Post-it notes. And all you're going to want to do is take a few Post-it notes and align your paper up with the side of the guide. Take a couple of Post-it notes so that the magnet has something to grab on. And then when you close this and flip this out of the way, you're going to be able to cut just the same way that you cut before without any trouble. Even on a relatively narrow piece of paper, you're going to be able to get that border cut. And then, just take those off. So that's kind of the main tip I wanted to share with you. I was talking to some people last weekend and they didn't know how to use this. And so I figured this is something I should pass on because it's really helped me a lot. I could even, if I wanted to cut the other side of this still, now that it's even shorter, I could turn it around and also use the Post-it notes to cut down the other side, which I probably wouldn't do for this design, but I might do for a different one. So there you go, the wonderful, wonderful Border Maker system. If you don't have one of these, you're missing out. And if you do have one and you haven't used it in a while, I hope that you'll get it back out and play with it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. If you have a favorite Border Maker cartridge, I'd love to know what it is. I don't think I could possibly choose a favorite Border Maker cartridge, but I really love that we've been getting a new cartridge every month in 2020, and I hope that that continues, because as much as being a scrapbooker, I also like being a scrapbook supply collector, and I know a lot of us have that same kind of need to have the whole set. And so this is fun because there's new stuff coming out all the time. So I hope that this has been helpful and that you learned a little bit about how to use the Boardermaker system, and that you will be able to create some beautiful pages for your albums. Thank you so much for taking time to watch my video, and happy scrapbooking.